Morning guys, in the last video we didn't talk about Pokemon Sword and Shield. Well, in this video, we will. And let's talk about this game that I liked, I played for at least 50 hours, but even with that I still cannot recommend to anyone that's expecting anything at all from Game Freak and anything at all from Pokemon. With that said, let's get started. Hey guys, it's Ray, and today, surprise surprise, we are going to talk about Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, I keep my words very specific, and that is talk about Pokemon Sword and Shield instead of reviewing it. Because Game Freak, or Pokemon, has just been a series I've loved for so long. It's probably my top 3 in terms of favorite IPs, if not number 1, like the best. So, I get easily emotional, infuriated, disappointed throughout the video, evident from the last video, so I thought I can't possibly write something analytical because I did that for the last video and I was not analytical, I was kind of spastic throughout the video. So for this one, I'm just going to talk about the things that I like and the things I don't like. Straight up, that's simple because I have no control over myself. Alright, well that's it, let's get to it. Clicks aren't working well today. Conclusions at the door first. Pokemon Sword and Shield is the most paradoxical experience I've had with any given Pokemon game ever, and that is largely due to my love for the series for so long and the sheer amount of disappointment I received in this game of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Honestly, ever since the E3 announcement of Pokemon Sword and Shield, apart from a very short period of honeymoon, for most of the time, Pokemon fans like us and Game Freak are kind of on opposite ends of a conflict, and that's been going on up until today. As a Pokemon trainer for 15 years, sitting here and bragging about Game Freak is an incredibly easy job, especially after the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield in 2019. But rating the actual game itself is a lot more difficult than rating Game Freak and what they did in 2019, and that's largely, again, a paradox of my love for the series in the past and how disappointing this game has been in the present. Like last night, I was writing up the script of this video and I was thinking, should I rate Pokemon Sword and Shield by 2019 Nintendo Switch AAA title standard or based on past generation of Pokemon? If the standard is the first, then the job of rating Pokemon Sword and Shield becomes incredibly simple. As a 2019 Nintendo Switch AAA title that's also first party and is supposed to be full of quality, this game, Pokemon Sword and Shield, cannot even get a bare minimal pass from me in a lot of different dimensions. Like the graphical issue, most of the battle animation, the 3DS clone gaming models, and the frame rate issues are all areas I just can't give this game a pass if I'm setting the standard as a 2019 Nintendo Switch AAA title. But if we set the standard to past Pokemon games, we need to talk about that in more specificity. So the first point I'm gonna make may actually sound like something I dislike about the game, but in reality it's actually something I like about the game, and that is the Galar Pokedex. And sure, some of you are like, are you smoking? There's no national dex. And yes, I get all of that. But the initial Sun and Moon had 302 Pokedexes if you don't use the Pokemon Bank. And in my opinion, Pokemon Bank is for super hardcore gamers that are only a super small proportion of all Pokemon trainers will actually use it. So 400 Pokemons is still pretty worthwhile. The point I'm trying to make is it perfect? No. Is it the national dex? No. Is it frustrating that I can't transfer the Pokemons I love from my Pokemon Bank if they are not in the Galar Pokedex? Absolutely. But was 400 Pokemon still a lot to catch, and did I enjoy catching and collecting my Pokedexes through the 50 hours I played? Yes. So, in short, is it perfect? No. Did I like it? Yes. Okay, so firstly, disclaimer. I don't do anything competitive or PvP with any of my Pokemon games because I've never been good enough to ever battle anything that's not an NPC before. So, with that said, just a little disclaimer out there, but even I know that this forced EXP share thing is bothering a lot of people that play PvP and play competitive. Because if I'm not wrong, competitive players only battle certain Pokemons to level up their Pokemons to get the correct IV, EV, whatever it is. Again, I don't play competitive, but that's what I've heard from friends, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But even for me, who doesn't grind, who doesn't battle certain Pokemons, who just catches Pokemons and progresses through the story was so easy from start to finish. Like every gym leader, or more expansively, every single Pokemon trainer is just so easy to battle against compared to me, apart from Leon in the final champion battle, but that was like the only battle that was semi-interesting. Like, I remember back in Gen 1 or 2, certain gym leaders can be a nightmare if you chose the wrong starter Pokemon. Like, I remember in Pokemon Fire Red, whenever I choose Charmander, the Water-type gym leader is always a heavy grind for me to get through because they just, oh, that was such a nightmare. Same with Cyndaquil and, the third gym leader in Gold and Silver. Like, that was hard. That was difficult. I had to think about strategies, what Pokemons to use out of the, limited options of wild Pokemons from the start. And in this game, I constantly switched out Pokemons to fill up the Pokedex. I still found it really incredibly easy. Like, all I really used was my starting Grookey, which turned into a Rillaboom. And that was pretty much it. I completed 80% of my battles with that one Rillaboom, and that got me settled. Which means at the very end of the story, or towards the later end of the story, it got really, really boring. Because I felt like I was just pushed forward. I'm just like, I don't care about any of this, just keep going, I just want to collect Pokedexes. And the only reason I progressed the main story is so that I can collect more Pokedexes. Like, honestly, I felt like I would have enjoyed this game exactly the same or even more if you chucked me a save of someone that's already finished all the gym challenges and the champion battle, and I can just run out there and catch Pokemon. It would have been the exact same fun for me. Or even more. So the story. The story of Pokemon Sword and Shield has been the most tedious and boring progress I've ever experienced, even in Pokemon, which is a franchise that was never known for having a strong story or plot. It did in the past, definitely not in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like, the main story is pretty much non-existent apart from the gym challenges. I mean, the only thing that was somewhat interesting is like Sonia running around the place, observing the darkest day, which is essentially just Zacian and Zamazenta. And Hop appearing like 17,000 times in the whole process. It seems like he appears once every 5 minutes, battles you with his weak ass team, and pushes you to the next gym. Go like, alright, here you go, this is the only way you can go, and here's the gym challenge. Bye, I'll see you in 5 minutes again, and the same story will continue at the next town or route. Bye bye. That's honestly what Hop feels like to me in the whole story. Marnie's story was somewhat interesting, but first, she's not out there a lot, and secondly, it just feels like, yeah, sure, it's an interesting little side story, but with her, without her, nothing changes. So towards the end of the game, especially I think after the 4th gym, I just went like, yeah, finally, I finished the story. Yes. Now back to catching more Pokemons. That's honestly how I felt towards the end of the game. Now, speaking of the gym challenges, even that was boring for me. Like, sure, Dynamax was new, good, and exciting at the start, and that quickly got tedious when I can't skip the Dynamax animation in any given battle. So later, whenever I'm at gym challenge or a max rate battle, I am forced to watch that 2 to 4 minutes animation of the main character and possibly the other guy going like, ha, ba, cha, oh, ho, ah, big, boom. And I just go like, I've seen this like 15 times, like, let me skip it. Like, remember what they did with Mega Evolution back in X and Y, where you have to watch it once when you log into the game, and that's it, you're done. You don't have to watch it again. So yeah, that's one thing that's tedious, and the other thing that's also quite tedious for me are the gym puzzles. They're not so much tedious, they're frustrating to me. Because remember back in the days where gym puzzles were actually hard and worthwhile to challenge, and actually takes a while for you to get through? Well, in this game, the gym challenges were probably interesting only in the first 4 gyms. Like, the first 4 gyms legit had some mini games, a little bit of puzzle element to it, and that was fine. That was interesting. But from the 5th gym, like, the 5th gym, 7th gym, and 8th gym don't even have any gym challenges. What they do is they just slap 3 gym trainers in your face, go battle them. You battle all 3 of them? Good, challenge completed. And I'm like, what challenge? You didn't give me a challenge. And they're like, well, you've proven yourself worthy. Now you can fight the gym leader. I'm like, what did I do? I fought 3 gym trainers, and that was it. Like, you shoved them in my face. And yeah, like, I can't accept that because in this generation, Game Freak treated that as their main emphasis. They cut the villain group, they cut the side quests, so the only thing apart from catching Pokemons are the gym challenges, and even with that they got lazy. Like, that's not acceptable. At least to me, that's just not acceptable. Honestly, Pokemon Sword and Shield wasn't that bad from the very start. The new wild encounter mechanism, wild area, max rate battles, and Dynamaxing are all new elements that could catch people's eyeball when they play the game for the first time. Like, it's 2019, ladies and gentlemen, and yet Pokemon Sword and Shield is still a fully linear game. And by that I mean, sure they made a few curves, sure there's a wild area, but first you can't catch the strong Pokemons until you get certain gym badges, so they force you to progress before you can do anything in the wild area. And secondly, there's only one way to go, Route 1 throughout to Route 10 and then the Champion Road. There's no other way to go at all. Speaking of that, the world also feels so unlively because there's nothing in this world. Like, the beautifully designed cities and the beautifully designed buildings in those cities look good and all, but it's like you're looking at it from a distance. It doesn't actually have any content. Like, most of the buildings can't be entered, and even those that you can enter doesn't really have any content. It's normally just some random ass conversation that you click A few times, oh, you're done. It doesn't give you any information, it doesn't do you any good. It's just like, it's there because we need something to be there. The lack of puzzle, lack of events, and lack of side quests makes this world feel like there's nothing apart from the 8 gym challenges, and this world is solely designed for that purpose. Oh yes, speaking of that, I almost forgot. The villains. So in the whole story, you see Leon investigating on Dynamaxing. You see Chairman Rose investigating on Dynamaxing. You see Sonia investigating on Dynamaxing. But do you have anything to do with that? No, absolutely not. It's just that once in a while they'll throw you a bunch of dialogue like this happened to Dynamax, we don't know what's happening. That's it. You are not actively participating in any of that. And 1 hour before you finish the game, they tell you, oh, hey, by the way, yeah, Chairman Rose is actually a bad guy. Can you go and defeat him? So you defeat him, you catch Eternatus with the help of Zacian and Zamazenta, and then you go to the champion battle. Hey, you got it, you're the champion, bye. Like, that's it. Like, I know Pokemon was never an expert at writing the best story or having the best plot, but that's something else. It almost feels like game directors finished the game and were like, oh yeah, we need a villain group. Villain. Leon's the brother of Hop, he can't be the villain. Sonya doesn't look like a villain. Chairman Rose, you're the villain. That's done deal. Okay, so that's pretty much my thoughts on the game. It's got a full price tag. Not surprising, and is it worth it to you? Well, this is the first time on my channel I'm actually not gonna recommend or reject a game, because I feel like we all know Pokemon so well, and yes, they took a lot out of this game, but the core of the game is still there. You know, you're still catching Pokemon, there's still a journey. That core elements that's been there for 23 years is still there, but is it worth it? Honestly, if I experienced the whole game before I bought it, I'd say no. If you are just a person looking for a AAA Nintendo Switch title from 2019, that's also an RPG, don't buy this game. Go and buy something like, you know, Dragon Quest, or even like some of the older games like Xenoblade Chronicles. Even those games are so much better. But if you just want to play the next generation Pokemon game and see the new Pokemons, it's your only option. You don't have another way through this. So I'm not going to recommend it or reject it. Entirely up to you guys. With that said, for any of you that's bought Pokemon Sword and Shield, let's talk in the comment section down below about the performance of the game. Do you agree with me? Etc, etc. I'll see you guys down there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!